Hi everyone, my name is Teru. I explain Japanese business through real companies and case studies. Before I get into today's video, I just want to quickly say thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channels, 11 subscribers to be exact. It's not a lot, but again, it means a lot to me and it motivates me to make more videos. So I appreciate you subscribe to my channel, and my goal is to gain 100 subscribers by the end of this year. I know my video is quite niche, which is done intentionally. I'm not trying to reach as many people as possible. I'm making these videos for 9 to 5 people like myself, or people in general who are interested in business. The people like read Wall Street Journal, Business Insider, something like that. But anyway, I hope I can make that happen. And I appreciate your support and thank you for subscribing to my channel. So for today's video, I would like to talk about UNIQLO. For those of you who don't know what UNIQLO is, I'll explain more details later. But essentially, it's a Japanese clothing company. However, the catch is they're not really selling clothes, but they are selling solutions in the form of clothes. Let me explain more details later. First thing first, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Teru. I was born and raised in Japan till graduating high school here. After that, I studied abroad in the US for college. Post-graduation, I came back to Japan, and now I work at the multinational corporation, which basically means they have headquarters outside of Japan, but they have branches here in Japan. So what is UNIQLO? It is a Japanese affordable apparel brand under Fast Retailing. Fast Retailing is the parent company of UNIQLO, and it was founded in Japan in 1984. So it's about 40 years ago, and it operates 2,500 plus stores worldwide, and it is known for lifewear, which basically means that it's UNIQLO's philosophy that revolves around quality, minimalistic, universal appealing, as well as the comfortableness. I mean, as you can see in the pictures, the design of the clothes are quite minimalistic. And as a matter of fact, I'm just wearing the Uniqlo clothes right now. And in terms of affordability, again, this t-shirt costs about 2,000 yen. It's approximately 12 US dollars. So you can imagine how cheap that is. But still, like this, it's 100% made of cotton. So it's still the premium and the good quality. So Uniqlo is a global giant. So it operates in 25 plus countries that covers Asia, North America, and Europe. And most people don't perhaps know, but Uniqlo had third highest fashion sales in the world back in 2025. So this chart in the bottom, which I took from Uniqlo's official website, it basically shows the top 5 worldwide fashion brand. One is the Zara. It had $47 billion sales. And number two is H&M. It had 25.2 billion dollars in sales, and lastly, Uniqlo had 21.8 billion dollars in sales. So just the number itself, it proves that Uniqlo is a global giant. So going back to the main point of Uniqlo selling the solutions, well, Uniqlo's each product has a purpose, which is to stay warm, to stay cool, to block UV, and to stay light. And so here are the example of solutions that Uniqlo provides, and every product solves the problem. Problems such as, again, like heat, cold, UV, and weight. So on the left, that's UV protection, which is kind of a new concept. I think it was introduced in 2025, so it's still quite new. But essentially what it is that it protects our skins from UV exposure so that we won't get tanned. So just FYI, I think in East Asia, like Japan, Korea, maybe not so the China, but definitely Japan and South Korea, especially the female, they don't really want to get tan here. And for I guess the beauty standard is just different. But basically, people try to avoid getting tan as much as possible, especially again female consumers. So Uniqlo is basically trying to fill the needs of not getting tan. And actually, in summer here in Japan, you can see a lot of female wearing the long sleeves in the summer, although it's extremely hot. Or it's just to basically avoid getting tan. So that's the solution Uniqlo provides now. So next item is airism. This is another game changer for extreme heat in Japan. I mean, Tokyo now is still July, mid-July, but it goes like 37 Celsius with like 80% humidity. So it gets really hot. And airism, again, is the game changer product. Absorb the sweat and but get dry. So you can still feel some sort of freshness, even though it's really hot. And most people wear it like as the first layer that touch the skin, and then they wear t-shirt or shirt on top of it. In contrast, that is the heat tech, which is to solve the problem of coldness. So Japan has four seasons, right? Like from spring, summer, fall, and winter, and temperature varies a lot. For example, in Tokyo, it goes around like 47 Celsius in the winter, and from that it goes up to like 38 Celsius in the summer, with again like 70% plus humidity. So the temperature varies a lot. And again, UNIQLO provides solution to those like extreme heat, extreme cold, UV protection, and then weight of the clothes. So the heat tech, again, similar to airism, it will be usually worn as the first layer that touch your skin, and then on top of it, people wear, sweater or other line of clothes. Toray is the enabler of UNIQLO's success. So it is a chemical company that produce the fabrics that are used for heat techs or airism or pretty much any those products that Uniqlo produce. They've been partnering for like 20 years. So Torre is the backbone of Uniqlo's success. Just FYI, the guy in the left in the picture is the CEO and chairman of Uniqlo, Mr. Yanai. So what we can learn from Uniqlo is that solving problems can sometimes work better than chasing trends. And Uniqlo definitely found a unique angle within the fashion industry because, like for example, Zara or the H&M, I mean, they don't really have those technology for the clothings. They're basically the fast fashion, right? They're selling clothings cheaper than luxury brands, and but they don't really care about making clothes last longer, so that consumers keep buying, right? But Uniqlo has a different purpose, which is again to solve the problems. And actually, most of their clothes are decent quality, so they last longer as well. So they found their own unique angles that they can maximize their competitive advantage, which is again those technology that other competitors cannot easily mimic. Focusing on those like fundamental problems that consumers facing and trying to provide solutions are definitely the key successor for the Uniqlo's success. So second point is SPA business model. It stands for Specialty Store Retailer of a Private Label Apparel. It's just too wordy, but essentially what it is that Uniqlo does everything by itself, meaning they design clothings, they make their own clothings, they ship it, and they sell their clothing at their own stores. So basically, they don't use any middlemen, which is super beneficial for Uniqlo because it saves a lot of money for Uniqlo, right? Because they don't have to use middlemen. Everything is integrated. So basically all those communication or business directions or goals that they have, it can be translated very quickly within the organization rather than having middlemen that has to go back and forth, with the Uniqlo and other like suppliers, for example. So those two definitely enable Uniqlo's success. So lastly, my thought as a Japanese, it's quite interesting how Uniqlo became what it is today. And, I think most people's perception about Uniqlo is minimalistic, clean, and could be considered as the cool fashion brands, right? With the cool jeans or cool oversized t-shirts, like the one that I'm wearing. I've seen a lot of YouTubers, like, fashion influencers cover Uniqlo as well, and they praise Uniqlo quite well. But sharing the interesting insight as a Japanese person growing up here, back like in 15 years ago, it wasn't the case. Like general people's perception about Uniqlo was that they sell affordable clothes. Yeah, like heat tech were already there, and then people kept buying Uniqlo for winters as almost like essentials, right? Like that's the first layer, and to protect themselves from the coldness or heat, air region. But they didn't necessarily bought Uniqlo as like cool fashion brand. So At least that was the general norms. So it's quite interesting that how Uniqlo changed their like a positioning from just selling the clothing that solve the problems, but rather also attracting the younger generations who are into fashion. Okay, so that's it for today's video. If you enjoy it, please like the video and then consider subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.